All set with that one? Okay, another question. Next question is to Mayor Harrington. And it's from Fredson Gomes. Craig.
Hi, this is Fredson Gomes from Ward 7. This question goes for both candidates. What are you going to do to acquire and retain young business professionals in the city of Brockton, living, working, and so forth?
I think that's obviously an excellent question, and I think one of the first steps that we took was when we did the 40R smart growth zoning in the downtown area, which enabled people that will be able to build buildings to make places for professionals to live. Prior to putting the 40R in place, as most of you know, because of the work we did building the intermodal center downtown with the buses and having the railroad, the transit station right there, that two of those old factory buildings were able to be converted, and they're full of young professionals that are there. And now what we need to do is, in order to keep them here, we need to get some critical mass downtown so we can start opening restaurants and the other businesses that will make it a urban center that people want to live in and stay in. So we pieces again, I think when later in the month when the 43D expedited permitting comes out, that report is going to have a comprehensive land use recommendation in it. What we've done is we picked specific lots of land in downtown, combined city lots with private lots, and set up areas where the zoning would allow certain things to happen, and we expedite those things happening. And so I think that that'll be an exciting part of the plan going forward, and there's some money behind that also. The last thing I'll say about how we're doing this is, one of the things I've been a leader in the state on is the Urban Cities Initiative. And basically what we're doing is we've gone to the governor and the legislature to try and get some tax credits, historical tax credits, housing credits, so that when we go forward, they'll give some advantages to people who come to Brockton. Right now, that the economic incentives that the state gives can be used by any community. So why would you come downtown Brockton when you can go into a big piece of land in Middleborough or Lakeville? So we're working on that initiative. Gateway Cities Initiative, I was the first mayor in the state to sign on to it. We have 11 gateway cities. Once we formed our group and signed a charter, the legislature then stepped up and formed a group of all the legislators from those 11 communities, and we're getting some real action with that. And I think, I know my Councilor Belzotti was in town last week when I presented testimony before the House on some of the initiatives that we want to do. So we need to have to build some critical mass downtown. One way to do that is to have the right plan in place.
Thank you, Councilor Balzotti.
I actually was somebody who came to back to Brockton as a young professional, came back here as a career, and one thing that you hear from the young professionals that do come back here is that there's just nothing that for them to do, that they tend to spend a lot of their social life in Boston or Providence or in other places because they just don't feel that there are the things here that we need to do. That's why I thought that the idea to get some kind of artists, communities in downtown, some kind of arts and culture in downtown would help to keep young people here. But I think that that's a major part of why a lot of young people sometimes don't come back to Brockton after they finish college because the social aspect of life isn't here. So that is something that we clearly have to work on, because in order to get them here and keep them here, there has to be a reason for them to stay here.
Yeah, I just follow up on that. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we did the Arts in the Window program downtown, is to take some of those vacant window fronts and working with the Fuller Craft Museum, we've now started to put art in some of those windows. We're going to extend that program more by putting arts on the BAT buses. As they go through the city, people will see copies of art right on the buses. And I think that is a community that we can bring in. There is ordinances and things in place to do artist lofts. What we need to do is find the right builder and the right developer to be able to develop that. But I do think that that's something that we're looking at doing and have been working on getting done in the downtown.
I think clearly that a really direct partnership again with the the Fuller Craft Museum will be essential to get things like that done, because they will help us to find the artists. And I'm prepared to go to Boston and go to Providence and sell to the artists with the Fuller Craft Museum the reasons to come to downtown, the reasons to establish yourself there, what we have to offer as a community for you to live there. As I said before, I had some artists from Rockland who wanted to relocate here, and we couldn't find space for them. So it's not that they don't want to come. The space just wasn't available and set up for them to come. So I believe it can be done.
Well, I don't think you're telling the whole story there. It's not a fact that there's not a space here for them. They don't want to pay for the space. So to find a that we can put them in that they don't pay for the space, is what the issue is. We have plenty of space, plenty of places that we can put them, but generally what you have to do is find a landlord that allow some of those folks to use some of that space at no charge, or find some funding source, which we've been looking for. We've been meeting with the Humanity for the Arts, who's doing a great program with Brockton kids. They're bringing kids into Boston. So there is those programs going on, but the key of finding the space is finding space that's free.
No, Mr. Mayor, these people were prepared to pay for space. They pay for their space currently, but what they were looking for was factory-style buildings, and many of the buildings they were taken to, the plumbing was in disrepair, or the windows were in disrepair, or it just wasn't suitable for them. They were more than prepared to pay for the space. They had been paying for space in Rockland.
Thank you very much.
Not the ones that
That concludes our second segment. Time for another water break, 7th inning stretch, if you would. And we'll proceed to our third and final segment of tonight's debate, where the candidates are allowed to ask each other questions. Thank you to both of you. We haven't really had to use the clock so much, so thank you. It's not been a big factor. Thank you for not applauding too much. That was sarcasm.